Coming up on Flowing into Awareness with Master Intuitive Anatara. There is no path. You make the path by walking. How do we find direction in our life? Moving forward on all levels of our lives, one step at a time. And how does that work? This and more is coming up next on Flowing into Awareness. This week's episode is brought to you by Support the Mountains Herbal Parasite Cleanse. This formula targets the small and large intestinal tracts and larvae, the most broad-spectrum formula available today. 100% organic, formulated by Dr. Mikio Sanki, author of the Esoteric Acupuncture series. For 10% off your first bottle, visit shopyogahub.com and use the coupon code CLEANSE at checkout. Hello and welcome to YHTV's Flowing into Awareness with visionary and master intuitive Anatara. I'm Christina Suzuma, your host for this program. Today our topic is, there is no path. You make the path by walking. And here is the lovely Anatara.
Greetings to you, Christina.
Greetings, Anatara. Let's go take a walk.
Yes, I'm actually going to read the description of this particular episode because as I reread it, some of the words form this kind of synergy that I like, and I want to start with that. So, this quote, attributed to Antonio Machado, sums up everything that I want to share in this world. The direction that you choose to stride into creates your life's dimensions as you go. So the direction that you choose to stride into, and I don't want to say stride to, it's you stride into your path, into your trajectory. It creates your life's dimensions as you go. One step leads to the next, each step influencing and illuminating the ones that follow. In this way, we make our path by walking. We make our own path by living. We make our own path by being. You know, how phenomenal is the idea that we illuminate the next step that we're going to take by the previous one. So that as we I want to say rise to the occasion, rise to the steps that we're taking physically, emotionally, mentally, in preparedness for whatever we think we need next in our lives, or for our next relationship, or for our next level of expansion, we make the next step by the one we're taking now. We inform and illuminate and actually elevate every step that we take one step at a time. In this way, we are entirely tuned into what our path is, and at the same time, entirely not taking anything too seriously. The way this works is that we don't try to make something occur. We let each thing that we feel and know to be accurate, with each thing that we feel and know to be right in the moment, tell us and show us where the next moment of adventure will be, where the next moment of influence will be. What a nice idea that we don't necessarily have a path that we have to feel that we are on and must take and can't step off of, but that we do take little steps or big steps that enrich and inform and enlighten the next one that's coming. I just find this such a powerfully relieving concept. So maybe we're not stuck on this path. Perhaps everything isn't completely determined, but that we have some way of accessing, stepping into, and addressing the things and the parts of ourself in connection with the universe that are actually the most powerful. What does that say about we ourselves as beneficiaries of and participants, with the Creator, whatever that means to you? How phenomenal can it be if we are matching step with what we're creating and letting the creation show us where the next matched step is? So walking, not being on a path that is forsworn or made in advance because it has to be, but recreating with every single thing that we choose the next step on the path as it is unfolding. Well, to me, that's just such an enlightened and refreshing way to look at it. To look at what we're doing and who we are and how we can become the next thing. What's happening with your walk and your path, Christina?
This is so interesting, Anatara, and because as you speak about walking, moving, all I could imagine was a stream of this water that's tumbling down, hitting the rocks and the moss, and just the movement of tumbling down a path. And of course, every molecule of water does the direction that it's going, it is going in a direction, but it's ever changing within that stream.
Exactly.
And that's all I kept seeing as you were talking. And I thought, wow, how beautiful is that? Like that consistent moving, that consistent motion, and it slows and it speeds up and it slows and it speeds up and it kind of rides over a rock or a boulder, or it splashes to the side and trickles back into the stream and into the flow. And that's all I kept seeing as you were talking. So I thought, wow, what a beautiful ride this is.
Well, and that describes what I'm talking about perfectly, because you take one step, you step into that flow, you move a little bit, you bump into another molecule of water, you bump into another rock, your path changes. You are making the path as the water rolls down the river and rolls down the stream. And it seems like maybe we are making some choices, and perhaps we do sometimes. And most of the time we are just letting ourselves be a part of the flow and be influenced by whatever we bump into.
Yes, at times there is not much choice.
And I, the more and more I live my life, the more I know that that's the way I want it to be. I do not want to need to create those choices. I don't mind being presented with choices and then seeing which nudge I pursue. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to have to make up the choices. I don't want to have to make the steps and then take them. I want to take them as they appear. I want to take them as I roll into them. It's so interesting because this last weekend, as the air warms up here in Canada, I was swimming in a rich and luscious river on Vancouver Island, and the water was just so cold from the snow melt, and it was flowing more rapidly than I would usually swim in. But as I looked into the water cascading over the rocks, as I looked down into the depths of this crystal clear, freezing cold water, I could see bubbles rising, and those were the bubbles that were created by the flow that you were describing. And their effervescence, their movement, it called me, and I had to dive into that water, no matter how cold it was, to feel the vitality and to let myself be part of that tumbling, part of that movement, part of the path that the water and I were making together.
Beautiful. Well, I will live through osmosis. A little too chilly for me now that I've lived in Southern California too long.
I do understand.
Oh, that's spectacular. Thank you so much, Anatara. What a lovely moment of effervescence and the movement forward. Love it. Well, we would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us in this new platform of education and information. We're grateful for your continuous support, and we look forward to hearing your feedback on how we can serve you better. You can connect with Anatara by following her on Twitter at Anatara or on Facebook, Master Intuitive, and of course through her own website, anatara.ca. We hope that this moment on YHTV has supported you or a loved one in some way. We invite you to take a moment to like us or subscribe to our channel. And, we are always grateful and look forward to your feedback and comments and suggestions. And you can do so just by scrolling down on the screen and typing it into the comment box. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, as an audio podcast, please feel free to give us a call at 818-LETS-TALK, 818-LETS TALK. Until next time, namaste.
But I think that a lot of people get hurt, spraining muscles or tearing muscles or bruising muscles, and not always sure what to do. And most of the time, people don't do it as well as they can. So I always think that by having an understanding of some of these systems, give you more insights in how to prevent problems, prepare yourself to be in the best shape, muscular-wise,